guys, it's Ariana. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're going to be reading some more scary stories. So happy day 7 of 31 days of Halloween. As per usual, I have my wicked candle in here, making the whole room smell like caramel apples, and my hair looks crazy right now because I literally just took it out of my hair rollers. So part of it like just didn't curl at all, which is kind of annoying, whereas this side curled really, really nicely. So I'm probably gonna have to go in and touch up these curls before I leave because I'm going to Thanksgiving dinner tonight at our friend's house. So I need to fix that before we leave, but it's fine for this video. I'm going to be reading some of my DMs from Instagram because I have a bunch of requests from you guys and I'm really excited to read them because I haven't actually read them yet. And some of them have been sitting in here for a couple of months now. So let's go to the oldest one that I have. So this one is, I'm not gonna say who it's from. I'm just gonna keep everything anonymous, but they said, I have a few stories I could share from my own family's experiences. This first one I'll share is probably somewhat the first experience I ever had with the other side. I grew up in a home that was right next to a cemetery of my little town. We would play in the cemetery all the time, and come to think of it, every instance always felt normal. It was your basic, hear someone yell your name, and when you respond, they would say they never yelled for you, or called your name. I would feel eyes on me while I showered, and would tell them always that they were to leave many times. Usually, they would respectfully leave, and while that was normal, it wasn't. Instances like these seemed to happen when a new person had taken a spot next door, but the number one experience from that house, short of hearing my name when it wasn't called or feeling someone watching or lay next to you in your own bed, the one I remember the absolute most scared me so bad I don't know why I didn't run away. Like I said, it was normal, but this was far from it. Normally, insomnia was my best friend, but this night I actually got to sleep at a decent time. I had woken up with a startle and a very uneasy feeling. I had glanced at my clock that lived next to my bed on my vanity, and it was 3 a.m. on the dot. As I sleepily looked around my room, wondering what I was feeling and why I woke up, I noticed a really tall, dark figure that was noticeably thick in darkness. My room was painted really bright, fun colors, and characters of Minnie Mouse and flowers decorated the walls. Where the figure was happened to be where my closet was. Really bright green and blue doors side by side. They were closed at the time, and usually the streetlight right outside lit the room enough to see everything, but this mass presented a challenge to see anything. I remember rubbing my eyes as if maybe I was just seeing things, and I got nauseous. My stomach almost like flipped, it turned upside down. I thought maybe I was just imagining it, but it moved and started to get closer. The thing stood as tall as the ceiling and covered almost both of the doors. Once I realized it was getting closer, I rolled over and buried my head in the blankets as if it couldn't see me. I closed my eyes and started to say that I would say in every single situation, I am protected by God and the Holy Ghost. If you mess with me, you mess with them, and it's my space and you are to leave. I then peeked out of my blanket to see if it was still there, and it was gone. The saying had worked every single time in that house. I say that house because I have more stories from others. Very, very creepy, a very creepy story, and I don't know how you didn't just leave. Like, I would have got up and I would have left my room. There's no way I would have just stayed in there and buried my head under the blankets. I'm glad that you're saying, this is my space, my house. If you're not of light and love, leave. Worked, but I don't know how you didn't just run away because I'm a big chicken, and if I saw something in my room, there's no way I would stay in my room. That's so creepy. But thank you so much for sharing. Let's move on to the next one. I have a few spooky things that happened to me while I was living with my ex. Here in the UK, we have a council houses. They are homes that are built mainly in the 50s to 60s. So a lot of them are really old. My ex and his family used to live in one, and I lived in them a few years ago. The house had a really weird atmosphere. Even during the day, it felt really uncomfortable if I was by myself, like something or someone was always watching. The layout of the house would be that you come through the front door into the kitchen and through the living room to go upstairs. On a night if I ever needed a drink, I went downstairs to get one, I would need to walk through the living room to get to the kitchen. Every single time, without fail, the TV in the living room would be off. It would turn on by itself, never on a channel, just on a fuzzy screen. Me and my ex used to watch TV in the living room, and the lights in the kitchen would come on by themselves. The TV upstairs would also suddenly come on by itself and would be able to hear the noise coming from downstairs. I used to get up early to make him sandwiches for work, then go back to bed a half an hour later, and I'd hear the TV downstairs turn onto the channel I had been watching before I went to bed. The lights in the hallway would turn themselves on and off too. I thought that it was probably just a problem with the electronics to begin with, but other weird things started happening. One time I was in the shower, his mom was disabled, so it was like a wet room. The shower curtain was pulled around me, and I heard the door open and someone walk in and turn the tap on, but never turned it off again. I pulled the shower curtain back and I turned the tap off myself after about 5 minutes, wondering why they had done that. Later on that evening, I questioned it and everyone denied coming into the bathroom. My ex also had long floor-like curtains in his bedroom, and one night I went in and could see the outline of him standing behind one of them as if hiding and wanted to jump out at me. I even said to him, "I can see you," and I heard him laugh. I went over and I punched the curtain and my arm went straight through. Then he came through the door with a bowl of cereal from downstairs. He was never behind the curtain. Another morning, I was in bed facing the wall and I heard the door creak open and someone cough to try to get my attention. Thinking it was his mom, I ignored her and I pretended to be asleep. Later on, I texted her asking if she needed me to get anything from the shop, and she said no thanks, she's been out since early morning. I was home alone and I had been the whole time. I hated being in the house by myself. Like I said earlier, even during the day, I felt so uncomfortable and anxious and like I was being watched. When I told his mom about all the scary incidents, she said that my ex used to be scared of the spare room as a child. He said there was a man in a hat there, and his sister used to sit on the stairs in the middle of the night saying that there's a girl with her mom outside and they are asking to be let in. She also used to play with a girl on the steps outside of the house and spend hours talking to seemingly nobody. I was glad to get out of there when we broke up. It was creepy as hell. I hope you enjoyed my story. So thank you so much for sharing your stories. Those are really creepy. I don't know what I would do in those situations because those are just really creepy. I hate the idea that something came into the bathroom and turned on your tap. Not only is it wasting your guys' utilities, but it's just rude to do that. Why would you leave that on? Like, if you're gonna waste my utilities, you can pay part of the rent. I don't care if you're an entity. But thank you so much for sharing those stories. Those were really creepy. And I'm going to read one more. This is going to be a quicker video because I am getting ready to leave and I have to leave in literally 15 minutes. So we're gonna read one more story. Hi, I've really enjoyed your videos, so I thought I'd contribute to one of my stories, with it being spooky season and all. It's quick, but I think I slept with the lights on for nearly a week after this happened. I was asleep one night when I woke up for seemingly no reason. You know when you're in a deep sleep, but you startle awake for no reason? 1 second you're sleeping hard, and the next you're awake and alert? This happened to me. At first, I stared at the ceiling, trying to listen for whatever had woken me up. I'm a light sleeper, so it's not too hard to accidentally wake myself up. However, the house was absolutely silent. I'd been awake for maybe 5 seconds at this point, and that's when I felt it. Someone was standing by my bed. I looked to my right, expecting to see my little sister or my mom, but I jumped out of my skin when I saw a person-shaped shadow standing up beside my bed. It wasn't 3D, but more like someone had drawn with shadow in the air. It had no facial features, but I knew it was staring at me, watching me sleep. Because of the way my room faces, my room is generally lit by moonlight. I could see everything through a silvery glow. If it wasn't a full moon, it was close to one. The shadowy person was darker than the other shadows in the moonlight, which is why I could see it so clearly. Like I said, I nearly leaped out of my skin when I saw it. Although I was lying down, my entire body flinched, and I felt myself jump as I gasped, and that's when it moved. After I jumped and gasped, the shadow moved its head to the side a little, like it was confused or surprised that I could see it. I had a strong feeling it didn't expect me to be able to see it at all. It stared at me for another second like that, and then vanished. I plugged in all of my lights and stayed awake the rest of the night. The next morning, I called my sister and she moved out, but she's sensitive to these things like I am. She told me she had experienced similar things and could tell something was in her room with her, but never actually saw anything. Although we live in a rural dirt road community, there's a busy road that you can see from our front porch. Our theory is that sometimes a spirit attached to someone driving by might be exploring and is just traveling through. I hope that's the case. I think back on the night a bit and sometimes wonder if it was just watching me or if it was planning to do something else. I know without a doubt I thought I wouldn't be able to see it and surprised that I could. I try not to dwell on that idea. Enough time has gone by that I can see the humor in the idea that it was just curious, and I must have scared it as much as it scared me. That's how I try to think of the encounter anyway. If you have any questions or need me to clarify something, please let me know. I'm a writer, so I tried to edit it a little bit, but it's been a long day and I'm tired. Laugh out loud. Thank you so much for sharing that encounter with me. That is really freaking creepy. I hate the idea of shadow people in your room. Like, it's just so weird and creepy, and I just don't like it. It's just so eerie. There is a lot of encounters of people seeing the Hat Man, and that is a very, very common occurrence. A lot of people see the Hat Man, and that is so creepy. There is one story that I read on my channel, I'll try to link it in the eye if I remember, of someone actually being attacked by a shadow person that had a hat on, and a lot of people think it's the Hat Man. So that is just absolutely terrifying. I hate that so much. That's so scary. I don't like the idea of something watching me sleep. I know that it's probably possible if you guys believe in the paranormal, because you're obviously on this channel, so you do, but something watching you sleep that you can't see, and then you can see it, and it's startled by the fact that you can also see it as much as it can see you. It's just creepy. And I kind of like the idea that you scared it as much as it scared you, because that's kind of funny. But thank you so much for allowing me to read your guys' stories. These stories were all really great, all really spooky, and they all fit my channel perfectly. If you guys have any other scary stories you want to share with me, feel free to message me on Instagram or message me on my email. I will be getting to my email really soon. I have a bunch of stories waiting to be read, and I'm very excited to continue doing 31 days of Halloween. So this is day 7, and I will be going to dinner right away, and then I will be coming home and editing and uploading as soon as possible. So this might be a later video in the night. So we shall see when it gets uploaded, but I'm assuming it's probably going to go up around like 10 or 11 tonight. So it's going to be a late one. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, please feel free to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below for more content like this. If you guys made it to the end of the video, please leave me your favorite fall emoji and let me know that you guys made it to the end. Please feel free to send me more of your guys' stories, and I will see you guys at the next one. Bye!